When I tell people I have ADHD, I usually get one of two reactions. Firstly, yeah, I know. And that always makes me laugh because I went 47 years having no idea about my own ADHD. And the second one is, no, you don't. How can you have ADHD? And that was certainly my life for 47 years. Both of these are sort of like representative of reality in some way. And part of this is about the stereotypes that exist. Now, the stereotype that I grew up with of ADHD was naughty boy syndrome. There was always, a couple of kids in the class who were bouncing off the walls, couldn't sit still, disruptive, always in trouble, failing every test, and all that sort of thing. And those ones, the classic, well, they have ADHD and they're going to be failures in life. Me, well, I did well in the tests and so on. I was a bit hyperactive in the class sometimes and distractible, but I did well in tests and I was always smart and I was always able to finish things. So obviously I didn't have ADHD. And as I went through my life, this pattern continued. I finished my degree. I did very well in my degree, mathematics and computer science. I did top of my class sometimes. I got a job at Google. I got a job at Amazon. I became a senior manager. There's all sorts of things that certainly have a lot of success and evidence of success there. But at the same time, there's these hidden struggles. And some of this is like just dealing with project planning or writing structured documents, things like that. They're stuff that I really struggle with. They take energy out of me and I don't do them that well. And I always struggle to know, well, why is that? And also things like emotional regulation and forgetting things and stuff that feels like it should be simple for a grown-up. And you sort of wonder, well, what's going on here? How can I be so successful but also have these weaknesses? And the success comes from also the same brain, the same characteristics. I have this ability to hyperfocus and to make connections between different topics and problem solve and connect with people as well. And things like that are sort of classic ADHD characteristics in many ways. So the same brain that makes me struggle also fuels my success. And what's going on here for most people in this situation, for me as well, is that the successes that you have and the strengths set this expectation for yourself and for other people that you're going to be successful across everything. You're going to be like, oh, wow, you're really good at mathematics, or you're really good at talking on your feet. You must be a genius at everything else. But in reality, you have this real variability of like some things I'm great at and some things I'm really under par at, and it doesn't match. So that whole sort of like dichotomy of the two personalities is a real struggle for a lot of people. Certainly was a struggle for me. But my diagnosis, when I figured out that I have ADHD, was like seeing a pattern. And I realized that okay, that explains so much about my life. It's really helps me understand what's going on. So I did a lot of reading and I read all the books. I read Halliwell, I read Barclay, I read Shankman, I read all these books. I listened to Huberman on the podcast. I researched medicine, all sorts of things. And I found it really helpful. I got coaching, I found tools, I've applied them, I've improved various things. And, it's still a journey that's ongoing, but I've certainly found that very helpful. But my big realization, this has happened in the last, I suppose, 3 to 6 months, is that what I need to do is not try to become normal, not try to solve all these things and bring my weaknesses up to my strengths level, but to figure out how who I am can really work. Like how do I make this ADHD brain really work for me? And how do I fit in with it? As Dolly Parton said, find out who you are and then do it on purpose. So all of these things, I'm trying to figure out how do I lean on the strengths and minimize the weaknesses rather than trying to compensate all the time. And the way I'm doing this is with a sort of three-pillared system. This is my framework that I've developed by reading everything and absorbing it, and I'm putting this together into a system that I'm using. And the three pillars are health, hacks, and harmony. So health is things like sleep and food and exercise and things like that are really about the body and the brain, even things like mindfulness meditation or medication, right? This is all about getting your physical state into a position where the brain works in a reasonably good way, and it's in its flow state, it's in its powerful focus state more often. The second thing is hacks, and this is all about externalizing the executive functions. So finding tools that enable me to remember things when I need to remember them and structure my thinking when I need to structure them and get started when I need to get started and focus when I need to focus. Things like changing my environment, removing complexity, reducing choices. So there's a whole lot of hacks and tools that exist out there that I'm adopting some of them I find don't work for me. Some of I find work and then stop working and then start working again. But then all of this is a system that you put together for yourself. So I'm working on that. And the third one is really the big one, which is harmony. And this is really about aligning the work that I do, the relationships I have, and my identity, who I believe I am, my self-talk, and aligning this all with my strengths so that I'm more often in a position where I'm really dealing with my strengths as opposed to trying to deal with my weaknesses and compensate for them. So when I put all these three in place, I find that the ADHD starts to really work for me, and this is where I'm at right now. Now, I'm not someone who's cracked the code. This is not like a solved problem. I'm on a journey, and I started this journey 2 years ago, and I'm testing and I'm learning and I'm building systems. And on this YouTube channel, I plan to share what has actually worked for me and what have I tried and how does it work and how can you use it. So if you're someone who feels this combination of brilliant and chaotic, the sort of absent-minded professor who does amazing things but then sometimes can't tie his own shoelaces, if you're dazzling and you're disorganized, all of those sorts of things, then join me, follow along. I'd love to hear what you work on, what works for you. Comment down below and follow this video. And if you know someone else who's like this, share the video, and I'd love to hear from them as well. So love to have you join me on this journey. I'm sure there's going to be lots more I'm willing to share in the coming weeks. I'm going to share some of my hacks, some of my health solutions, and some of the ways I think about harmony. I'm going to share those on this channel, so please follow along. Have a great day. In the meantime, have a great day and focus well.